Hello again and thanks for joining. So today I've got two locomotives to have a look at, both from Trix. You can see them in the box there. The one at the bottom is number 22,000 and it represents a Bavarian State Railways EG2 times 2/2. It's a weird number. The one above that, number 22438 in the Trix catalogue, this is actually a DB version in E70, so it's based on a slightly newer prototype than the one below. I couldn't find exact release dates for either of these two models, but I think the one at the bottom was released maybe in the late 80s or early 90s, whereas the one above I think is sometime around about 93 to 95, and it was released as a limited edition in this gold box, so I think it might have some extra features on it and possibly a certificate inside the box. I've not had either of these two open since I bought them. Both of these models are actually pretty rare in the UK market, especially the gold one. So I'll tell you about the prices towards the end of this video, but for now let's get a closer look at them. So we'll start off with what I believe to be the older of the two, this one here, the 22,000. So this will be the Bavarian EG2. So let's get this box open and check out what we've got inside. Well, it does look as though the couriers have been bashing the box around on the way to me, unfortunately. It looks as though we've got a bit of a problem with at least one of the pantographs on the roof, which we'll need to fix. Plus we've got this little box thing which has fallen off from somewhere. Not quite sure where that goes, so we're going to have a closer look and then figure it out and repair it and see how we go. So this pantograph seems to have just come apart here. It probably should just clip back in here, so let's give it a go and see if we can get it back in. Oh. That was actually quite easy. It does look as though it'd be easy to come out as well, so it's not the best setup of pantograph I've ever seen. It does look as though it maybe picks up from the overheads, going by the fact it's got copper on the top of this pantograph. So we'll have a look inside and see if that is the case. And that box, it fell off, just a push fit, and it went back into here, so I managed to repair that already. So now we can take a closer look at this model, and what a fantastic looking thing this is. It's got bags of character, this locomotive, and this model of it looks really fantastic. So as we look at the front, it does look as though we've maybe got lighting on these lamps here. They do look like gas lamps, have been moulded really finely and look really good. The buffer beam has got some rivet detail on it and a kick-down plate. The buffers are just integral into this piece of plastic though, and you can see that this part articulates separate to the main green body. We've got these really fine handrails going around as well. These are actually made of plastic, so they do bend a little bit, but they are very delicate. Typical Fleischmann coupling hanging out the front is made of metal. And this part down here we've got some brakes in line with the wheels which have dulled metal. And this bogie here is actually undriven, it just picks up, so you can see as I turn it around here that the connecting rod just goes around with the wheels as well. However, this one on the other side is powered, so I can't move it much, although it does have a bit of play in it. The green body looks really good. There's not a huge amount of detail on this model, but it does have some rivet details and hatches which look really good, and the printing on it of these little plates in the gold and the number in the middle looks really good as well. The windows are flush fit around and they have a bit of a yellow effect to them. It has what looks like it's meant to be wood here printed onto the plastic, so that looks really quite cool. And we do have handrails as extra metal pieces of wire added in here as well. The steps coming down here are very fine too, and we've got this part in the middle here which is attached to the chassis, and that looks really good as well. There's a lot of nice detail on this model. Actually, I can see underneath here, even though this didn't come with instructions, I'm guessing that red little thing there is for overhead pickup. I can see the little icons on it, so it does have pickup overhead. And these screws here are making me think that that's how you take the model apart, so we'll give that a go in a little bit. So looking at this end of the locomotive, we do actually have this come out of the little slot, so I'm going to have to try and get that back in. It's very fine, and it comes out quite easily, so a lot of these parts are just push fit and there's no glue holding them in. We have a different type of vent here and a few more hatches on this end of the locomotive, but essentially it's exactly the same as the other end. It has an indication of windscreen wipers on the main windows there. The roof has been masked off in silver and looks really good. It's got some nice rivet detail and the pantographs are nice and fine, but we did see how easily it could get damaged because one of them was damaged when I opened the box there. But I really like these little green parts, and the fineness of this overhead pantograph is really quite cool. We also have some other additional electrical gear, and at each corner we've got this, which I guess must be a whistle, and it's an extra piece that's been put in. It looks like it's been done in brass. In the middle window here you can see inside it's got an indication of maybe the engine or something like that. And on the other side we have two windows and not much to see in there. On this window here you can actually see part of the electrical gear inside the model. So it's a really cool looking locomotive, this one. and I'm really impressed with it. I can't wait to give it a try on the track. I'm going to try and fix this railings first, and then we'll open up the other one. Okay, so let's get this one open and we'll check it out as well. Well, no certificate or anything like that with this model, but we do have this bag of extra parts. They look like jumper cables or something, and they haven't been opened since brand new, so that's pretty cool that these are still in with this model. And here is the model, so it is exactly the same as the other one. Well, almost. It's got some slight changes on it. And the obvious thing is the paintwork is different on this with this lovely satin blue colour and the red wheels. It really looks a lot more interesting, I think, than the dull green one with the black. The lamps have changed as well. They don't look as though they're gas ones anymore. Got a little transfer here on this buffer. I'm not quite sure what it's saying. And these look as though we've now been upgraded to metal buffers on this model. There is some more printing on the side of the locomotive as well, and on the front there. We still have a view inside on this side of the locomotives, the two windows here. It's no longer in that yellow colour, it's just clear. But on the other side you see one of the differences on this model where this window has been blanked over. Up on the top, the pantographs are slightly different too. Obviously they're a different colour, but they don't have the side pieces, and we've got these green parts here which weren't on the other model. And you can also see we have a bell up here as well, which is an extra piece made in metal, and that looks really cool. And these boards here are also new to this model, but we still have the kind of, I think they're whistles up here as well. The wire handrails are now black on here, and overall I think this colour scheme works a lot better for this, and I'm enjoying all the extra little printing on the side of it as well. Also different on this model is that we now have NEM pockets on here, with a different type of coupler, more standard, almost like Rocco style. But there's nothing else different on the chassis, it's just got exactly the same setup. But we don't have these little boxes on the side here like we do on the green one, although these ones which fell off at the front are still there. So it's a really cool model as well, and I think we should probably give both of these a shot on the test track. So here we have the older of the two models, and it's on the usual Hornby third radius track I always use, and I'm powering it with my H&M controller on 12 volts DC. So let's give it some power and see what happens. Well, absolutely no problems at all there. It's an absolutely beautiful runner, very smooth, very quiet as well. And we also have directional lighting. The lights on the front work, and also the other additional headlight just above the cab at the centre. It also works as well. A great little model, but let's get the blue one on the track now as well. Well, no problems with this blue one either, but it is a little bit more noisy than the green one, so it might just need a little bit of lubrication. Let's open this one up and we'll check out the insides. Interestingly enough, it's got slotted screws on this one, whereas the other one had little star screws, so that's a bit of a change there, but it's quite interesting. Well, I didn't actually realise this before, but it is actually a metal body we've got on these models. You can see that inside it we've got two end pieces and a central piece, all made in metal, and we've got the plastic surround there for the windows. You can also see the copper pickup for the overhead pantographs and how it transmits it down to the chassis. And here we have the lighting going up to the middle light as well. And with the body off, you can see the chassis here. We do have some indication of the engine compartment. We've got a circuit board on the top with a little stud which transmits the power from the overhead. And we have little grain of wheat bulbs out on the edges here to supply the lighting. I have to say that the lighting isn't great on this model, but it's not too bad. If you give it a lot of power, it does light up, but you know, at slow speeds you don't see it. So just two screws that held the circuit board on, and underneath there, I'm not going to pull it right off, but you can see that we have a flywheel on the motor and it drives the gears here. It's got a metal gear at this end here, driving this front bogie. So quite an interesting setup. I'm just going to take the green one apart to see whether we've got the same thing. So different screws on this one and also a different circuit board. It seems instead of the stud we've now got this piece here for the overhead pickup, and it looks as though the resistors are bigger as well. But apart from that, it's exactly the same, and we do have a little bit of wetness on here. I guess it's maybe been over oiled. So a few little bits and pieces that are different. I've also noticed that this part here isn't on the blue one either, this little black piece here. So, you know, there are differences between these two locomotives, but they're almost identical. Let me get these back together and we'll put them on the scales and check out how much they weigh. So the green one comes in at 363 grams. And the blue one is marginally lighter at 361. So these two models from Trix, I've had a real blast having a look at them today. I think they're absolutely fantastic, and I can't believe that these could even be around about 30 years old. They're really high quality and they run really fantastic as well. There's some slight differences between the two models, obviously, as the model progressed through the years to the Deutsche Bundesbahn, changed some things around like the plated out window and the different features on the roof, and those have been faithfully reproduced here in model form. There are a couple of things that let these models down. I think the handrails aren't attached that well, so we had some problems with the green one. It kept coming away, and they seem to just be a push fit as well, so maybe they could benefit from having some glue applied, well, carefully. And the lighting really isn't that good. You can barely see it at all unless it's on full power. But that's possibly an upgrade to LEDs just waiting to happen. Aside from that though, I absolutely love these locomotives. They've got so much character, and my favourite out of the two is definitely the blue one. And unfortunately, I can't keep both of these locomotives because I just can't afford to. So I'm going to probably keep the blue one and put the green one up for sale on eBay. So if you fancy that one, you can grab it off eBay if you're quick. But what about price? So the prices vary, obviously, depending on how good the condition is, but I think these two are in absolutely fantastic condition. So I'd expect to pay around about £150, I think, in the second-hand market for either of these, possibly a bit more for the blue one, which I believe is a limited edition because it came in the gold box, but there was no certificate or anything like that with this second-hand model. So I'm really impressed with these two Trix models. I would definitely recommend these if you find them in the second-hand market. And if you fancy one of them, you can bid on the green one. But which one's your favourite? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really helps this channel. Now I'll put these both onto the turntable so you can see all the way around. And that's it for this video. Another one will appear in a moment. Thanks for watching. See ya.
So model train, model world, choo choo, model train, tiny world, choo choo, model train, tiny train.